Polyester pants, polyester hair, polyester shirt.
Hi. Ow, Jesus Christ. Come on with all this. Can't you just hug me and be normal?
No.
Thanks for coming. I'm glad you wore your Starlink watch. Can you get that? This thing is big enough to get signals from the moon.
Oi.
Thanks for coming.
Well, thanks for having me.
We wanted to do this for Father's Day. You and I sit down. Obviously, I tell enough stories about you on the basement yard.
Okay.
Are you okay? I'm sure that was probably the hardest thing that you've done in 2 decades, getting your leg up there.
It's about close to it. Close to it.
Everyone knows you from the stories that I tell, and I don't think they have ever put a face to your, like who you are.
This is what you get. This is all you get.
Do people bring, do they send you clips of us talking about you on the basement yard?
Sometimes, because I'm not too savvy about
anything.
On that sense. But yes, your brothers and your sister. Well, did you see what Frankie said about you? And it's pretty cool.
Do you remember any of those stuff that we've brought up?
I remember the boot.
The boot?
Yeah.
Oh, the boot, the drinking boot.
The drinking boot. Sure.
You still have it?
Sure. And that stupid hat that you had with the 2 beers and the straws in it. Yeah.
So for Mother's Day, Joey got his mom some flowers. I got Mom and Becca flowers. I wanted to get something for you, a little something that is what I believe, as flowers is memorable to them, is as memorable to you for Father's Day. So just a little something for Father's Day that I think is what would be the equivalent of flowers to you. You don't need to do all that.
Well,
it's Black & Mild's. Yeah.
Black & Mild's wood tip. And you got the right ones at least. But now I'm into cigars. So if you come across any Cubans or Dominican cigars.
Gotcha. Yeah. I will keep that I'll keep that in mind for when I just happen to come across Cuban cigars.
Thank you very much. That's really nice.
The hustle and bustle of life doesn't necessarily allow us to sit down and really have deep talks. Because you got your own thing going on. You're trying to enjoy yourself in retirement. Just some context for everybody. This was the guy growing up that was crawling underneath houses to fix pipes and flipping docks to fix those. And then ever since work, you haven't, when you got hurt, you haven't been able to do any of that stuff.
Well, that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part, the adjustment and also the hours. If you remember, I used to work 16-hour days.
Yeah.
But
I do. I heard a story that when we were kids, you'd work until 11:30, and then you'd come home and you would want to wake the kid, like my sibling, Jessica, Nick, and Chris and I, up to see us. And Mom was just like, "What are you doing? Let them sleep."
Yeah, well, I was out from 7 in the morning. I wouldn't get home until 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
And being a divorced parent was very hard.
Yeah, I bet.
The balance to do everything was extremely hard.
Yeah, and we'll get to that as we talk more about it. But yeah, so we got some cards. Figure we'll go back and forth, talk.
Okay.
All right, here's a question.
Go ahead.
If you and I swapped lives for a day, what would be the first thing you'd do? Walk in a straight line without wobbling?
No. Put a pool in.
Put a pool in?
Yep.
The first thing that you could think of is just manual labor?
You put a pool in.
So just to be clear, of the endless possibilities of things that you would do if you and I swapped.
Yeah, but there's other things, but I don't want to say it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. My dad would tell me stories. He would go spend from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the park playing handball. And then he would go to nightclubs in the city.
16, 17 years old.
Polyester pants, polyester hair, polyester shirt.
Mushroom shoes on.
What's a mushroom shoe?
Well, they were shoes. They looked like high heels. And it was similar to these. See these? But I used to have a six-pack back then.
Yeah. Of what? Of muscles? Because I don't know.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Well, playing handball all day long, running back and forth, and then being chased by certain individuals, that's a different story.
Are you talking about the 5-0, as they are referred to?
Yeah, 5-0.
What would happen to you right now if you played handball?
I'll forget. I'd fall apart. 5 minutes, I'll fall apart. I cut all my fingers, because on my finger, the tips used to be all cut up. You don't have a paddle. So basically...
You have your hand.
You have your hand. So one hand, bigger than the other one, for muscles.
I don't know what the hell that means.
Yeah, well,
Oh, you might be referencing jerking off.
no, that was you as a kid taking
No.
taking half-hour showers while your sister would be outside waiting to get in there.
Okay. Well, we could draw the line there.
Well.
Why don't you go ahead and ask a question from the top?
Yeah.
No,
there we go.
are you just ordering it however you want, Dad? I don't think
No,
that's
that's the top now.
No, it's not.
Okay. What is the most important thing I've taught you about raising children?
Ooh, that's a good question. I do think that a part of like my like desire to always remain a kid at heart came from you. I remember like when we would go to the lake house, you would always stop to get a fucking cappuccino blast with 2 scoops of ice cream in it. Vanilla ice cream. Let's make that very clear.
Vanilla ice cream.
Like you love to indulge in like what I imagine that things are that you liked as a kid. And even before we had kids, we were like young adults. You would call, like you'd ask us if you wanted you to make us daddy ice cream cones.
The most important part, Frankie, is that I didn't have what I gave you guys. So I try to make up for that.
Okay.
I saw how important it was for me to grow up without that. And so I try to do it to give it to you guys.
You think you missed out on like the chance to like fully be a kid?
Well, I couldn't, with my father, I couldn't be a kid because he was too stern. And actually, I could count with one hand how many times he cracked a smile. I want to be part of you guys.
And you thought like getting down on our level and like being a kid with us was like a way of doing that?
You know, having the pillow fights in Connecticut and also putting the tent outside. Like you're going to sleep out, you're going to be camping. Meanwhile, I keep the door open because I know you're going to run inside.
Yeah.
Because you were scared.
Let's let the record show it was my brothers that were scared, okay? I was
No,
very
you were
masculine and
also-
manly.
No, you weren't.
What was that?
Huh?
What the hell was that?
What?
One of my favorite pictures of you is a picture, I think it was your 30th birthday. So it's before I was born. And it's a picture of you smiling, holding up a copy of Super Mario Brothers 3. And like, it's just like, I never, like, I feel like that's a picture that I've taken before. You know what I mean?
And I think I know which picture you're talking about. And also with Jessica sitting on the table with the cake in front of me.
Probably,
It was
yeah.
a chocolate cake.
Yeah. I'm
I do
so
remember
glad that
that.
you remember the flavor of the cake.
I do remember that.
All right. Got another question for you. When did you, if you can remember a time where you felt most proud to be my dad?
When you realized that I couldn't help you more with college.
Just like the moment of like realizing that like I could fly from the nest myself.
You put the effort into it. And you showed that how important education was to you.
Yeah.
All that hard work that I put into it, you started putting into it. So that's when I got very proud of you.
I don't know if we've ever spoken about this, but you took out a pretty sizable loan for me that first year of college.
Yeah.
And I think you took it, unless I'm mistaken, you had taken it out of your like 401k, didn't you?
Yep.
And I don't know if I've ever gotten the chance to thank you for that. Like, say the words thank you. Which, thank you.
The way you showed me thank you when you graduated, because you put all that effort into it to finish what you started.
Were you ever worried I wasn't going to?
No. You have the same mindset I have. When you put your mind to it, you do it. It's either yes or no. There's nothing in between, and that's how you've been. And then seeing you as a parent and how you are with your kids. When you send me videos and clips of you guys taking sheets, putting it over the table and the chairs and camping out with them, that's exactly what we used to do. And I like that. It's a lot of gratitude.
Yeah.
So you said thank you without even realizing that you said thank you a long time ago.
Yeah. Take from the top. Don't shuffle them, please.
Oh, my God. If we were in a zombie apocalypse, who would just survive longer and why? Oh, that's fucking easy. That is easy.
I know your answer. Your answer would be you, because you'll fucking build whatever you need. But one, maybe, you know what? Maybe it would, because I'm sure that gets solar power and generates energy somehow, that watch.
Yeah, well, this one does. Once in a while, it gives me a jolt.
Yeah, I bet it does.
First of all, you'd have no Mr. Google to call. You'd be done. I would say.
What the hell? I think based off of my ability to walk 100 feet and not almost tip over 3 times, I think I have a pretty good shot. I mean, if it was me and you stuck in the apocalypse, I love you so much. I'm taking the first dive off a cliff I can, because if I have to hear you talk about fucking Cracker Barrel syrup for the rest of my life, I'll kill myself.
Like, dude, it's the best syrup. Frank, we need to.
That's how we would get caught if we were in the zombie apocalypse.
No.
You
no
would
way.
say, like, we need to supply run.
Where are we going?
Cracker Barrel, right off 95.
95. Just get big pockets.
We're going to keep getting to those questions, but before we do that, this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. Guys, I know what you're thinking. A lot of people like to bury things, swallow their pride, not talk about their feelings, their emotions, or anything like that. But real strength comes in being able to talk with someone. That's why we have partnered with BetterHelp, okay? BetterHelp is the largest online platform with over 35,000 therapists that are available to you at just the click of a button. And BetterHelp has helped serve over 5 million people around the globe find exactly what they need in speaking to a professional therapist, okay? Now, whatever mental health or mental wellness journey you're taking, make sure you take BetterHelp along the ride with you. And for our viewers, we have an exclusive deal, okay? 10% off your first month of using BetterHelp if you go to betterhelp.com/Santagato. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Santagato for 10% off of your first month of using BetterHelp. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to it. When you and Mom were going through the separation, what stood out as the most important thing, knowing that you guys would be co-parenting and no longer living under one roof?
Spend more time with you guys. Because what happens is that you don't realize until it happens. When it actually happened, I was like, I got to put more effort into spending time with the kids. As we were talking about before, balancing, it even got harder, because now more of a priority is to spend time with you guys. And sometimes I wouldn't make a baseball game, or I would get there at the last inning, and then I have to go back to work. So
just like be a constant presence.
Be more of a presence. Yeah, more of a presence. It was all a learning experience.
You and Mom were always civil. Like, you were always able to be at birthday parties together, at graduations, at baseball games together. Like, I think, like, I knew what was going on. Like, I saw, like, the writing was on the wall. It didn't take a lot of effort for me at a young age to realize you guys were splitting up. But you guys being able to, like, chop it up and talk regularly, civilly, was out of the norm, because a lot of people that I've seen in co-parenting relationships can't do that. They're very hostile.
Your mother and I, we both came to an agreement that we would keep it to ourselves. It was very hard, but at least be civil in front of you as respect. And I think your mother and I handled that pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
Because to this day, I mean, if your mother has a problem, I'd still jump in my car and go help her. Even though the problem was between the two adults, it does spill out to your kids. But if you're more civil, it's much easier for them to handle it.
I feel like after the separation, I saw more of you, if that makes sense.
When you're in that whole loop of work and trying to support your family, you forget about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then when that happens, reality sets in.
Yeah, one of my favorite memories is my high school graduation. I was going upstairs and I heard you and Mom on the phone together. You guys were just going back and forth and thanking each other. Like, you did so great. No, you did great. Like, thank you for everything. No, thank you for everything. And like, I think as a child of separated parents that didn't see or doesn't remember like affection between you two, like, that was the most affection I've ever seen you guys give each other. So like that moment stands out to me because it's like, in theory, you didn't need to do that.
I'm still grateful to your mother because even though I wasn't there, but she had to raise you guys when I wasn't there. So like she did good and she did bad. We all make mistakes. You got to recognize that what she did was good. And she also, in turn, thanked me also because it's a joint effort.
I never felt like I was part of a game to like prove who was right between you guys. Like you guys always navigated it well, and I know that probably wasn't easy. Yeah.
I never said to you, your mother this, your mother that. Never, because I always remember your mother is your mother.
Yeah.
And what happened between your mother and I stays between the two of us. And I never use you guys as a pawn to get back at your mother because that doesn't go nowhere. It's funny how you say that because, look, you actually realized it.
The fruit of your looms will eventually bloom.
But what's your favorite story about me to tell other people?
Ooh.
Let's see if I can fill in a little bit of the lines.
My dad loves when we tell stories about him. He sits there and...
Which one, at school?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He sits there and he cackles. The one of you coming to my suspension hearing in middle school.
Yeah, I got home at 4 o'clock in the morning. I got to be there by 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I wasn't too happy about it.
So to give you guys a little bit of context, there was a girl that accused me of calling her...
Ugly.
Ugly, yes. Or smelly, or something like that. And it was narrowed down to a table of kids, and I was one of the kids at that table. You asked me flat out, like, did you do it? And I said no. And that's all the ammo you needed. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., have one of your parents come for a suspension hearing. You showed up at 8 a.m. in, first of all, my dad used to drive a 2005 Denali XL, which was fucking giant. And you can hear this thing from 10 blocks away. And then coupled with that, you had a Bose surround sound speaker in there playing Jorge Celedon.
That's
Ay,
right.
ay, 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 que bonita es esta vida.
Which you happen to like.
I did like that
Okay.
song. I like that song not blasting through Astoria at 8 a.m. You rolled up, by the way, 20 minutes late to my 8 a.m. suspension hearing, covered from head to toe in gray flannel cologne, a full Puma or Nike tracksuit, probably one of each.
White.
With the biggest, most sugary Starbucks drink you can imagine. And you just walked in, and everyone was blown away by like the gall on you to show up like this.
And then the assistant principal, oh my God, I thought you, first of all, the way she was explaining to me, I thought we were going to be, I'd have to call up and get bond money for your bond. She tells me, you call her stupid. And I'm saying, I'm running this whole movie in my head. I'm like, this crazy lady makes me come here. I get home at 4 o'clock in the morning, wake up at 7, got to put my gear on, get over here. She tells me because my kid called the girl stupid. All right, Frankie, just hang out for me. So I stayed quiet.
So
let her keep going on with the story, the whole story.
It went
all
on.
this crying.
You interrupt the principal or the assistant principal, and you go,
I have question. What's gonna happen? Because he's not gonna admit.
and I'm like, I can't believe that you're just interrupting this woman. And
Yeah,
you're
I want to know. All right, he's guilty. Who's the guilty?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna blame my kid? You're gonna blame my kid? So that means that kid's gonna get it too, right? So she's looking at
and
me.
she's like, well, we're gonna, and he goes,
What is gonna happen?
and they're like, all right, no computer use for a month. And you were like,
Okay. Frank, you give a fuck about the computers? No, didn't think so. Bye.
he stood up, hugged me, kissed me,
No.
and walked
I-
out. And then he goes, you want to go get ice cream after this?
I go,
It's 8:30 in the morning. Probably 9.
she was in shock. She was like, okay, as your father, I'm curious how you view fatherhood and how you would describe the love you have for your children.
Jesus Christ. Even saying the word love for my kids is like, it doesn't feel like it's enough. And it feels to me just like a duty, like a responsibility. And like, I jumped right into it with Miles. You know, of course I had to take a little bit of time in order to not step on people's toes, but like, you know, definitely when like Ruby and Maeve were born, you know, like it was just like it's just like it's part of who you are. Like I don't know, I'm not trying to be anything. It just happens.
What I do, and I never said this to you, but what I do want you to do is to do things that I didn't do that it took an impact on you.
Well, yeah.
Okay, because that's the same thing I did with my parents. My father, he worked night and day, and the only time he would see me is when he would wake me up to give me a beating. So that's why with you guys, I did everything that I missed that he didn't do for me. So I want you to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Which you probably end up doing, and you don't even really notice that you do them.
I just want I want them to feel a sense of comfort with me that like
that you want them to.
There's never judgment. There's never like anything like that. Which
what I always wanted was have my kids want to be around me.
Yeah, to like me and to love me.
Yes, that's been my goal since you guys were born.
There's been some times in there.
Yeah, well, the same thing here. Too.
It's Father's Day. Mm-hmm. You are a seasoned vet at this point. You've been a father for, how old's Jess? 37 years?
37.
How much do your children mean to you?
Everything. As kids, you brought me a lot of joy and a lot of heartache. And now you guys are having kids, so watching my grandkids, it's like watching you guys growing up again.
We've had our tussles in the past, and I think I viewed you as like you were always supposed to have gotten it right, and I know that there are times where you didn't, and there are times where I haven't so far, and I'm sure there'll be times in the future where I'm not. I think the effort and just continuing to try to be a dad is what puts people above and beyond.
It never ends. You always try to be a better dad. Always.
I know I've not always been a model son, but
You've been a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
I love you very deeply.
I love you so much, too,
and I'm
Frank.
very happy that you're my dad, and we get
thank you.
to navigate life together.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.